The small island of Alderney sits just to the north of mainland France and is possibly one of the most historically dense places that we have ever visited. For an island just over 3 square miles, the sheer depth and breadth of history in Alderney is simply fascinating. In this video, we're going to take you through some of Alderney's history and try out something that's a little bit different for Highlands to hammocks. Go on an expedition in the supernatural. Let's go and find some ghosts. Ghosts in Fort Tourgis. So sit back, grab a popcorn and maybe a pillow to hide behind as we begin our ghost hunting story in Alderney. This place is creeping me out.
So we're starting off our day here in the museum in St Anne to get to grips with the history and the culture around the island. There's so much to learn.
One thing that we've actually realised from coming around and exploring around the island of Alderney is just how insanely rich in history it is. It's just layer upon layer upon layer, going back from before 2,000 years ago all the way through to the past couple of hundred years. Each part of that history is just absolutely fascinating. Stuff of nightmares.
I thought it took me long enough to iron my dress the other day, but imagine I was using that one.
I know, I think this is actually the iron that my mum uses to iron my socks and pants. Shout out, mum. Hello. Yes, Mr. Prime Minister. Ah, really? Oh, that's interesting. It says you have to like this video and hit that subscribe button. Our first stop on the island was at one of Alderney's most impressive historical sites, the Roman fort. The history of this site dates back 2,000 years and has been host to varying forces from the Romans to the Nazis.
So here we are exploring 2,000 years of history. The Romans, the Tudors, the British soldiers and the German soldiers have all made this fort their base.
And the reason all of these soldiers all shared the same fortification is basically because of the natural vantage point that it has over this bay. So they would all use it to defend against incoming ships that would land in the bay and obviously invade the island of Alderney. And one particularly fascinating part of it is actually out the back here on the beach itself, because you can see the different segments that have been expanded and reinforced through time, where the original Roman fort used to actually stretch out onto the beach here before the sea eroded the beach so much that it actually caused the wall to collapse onto the sand. The wall in front of me here is completely new, and you can see where the original central tower used to actually sit. Also, if anyone from the History Channel is watching this, feel free to slide into the DMs. I'm free to take any kind of job as a narrator because I'm obviously so knowledgeable in this kind of thing. And the bunker that you've got here is another perfect example of the kind of German fortifications that were built during the Second World War. And this one here has been completely cleaned out of any kind of rubble and debris, and it's been restored to a pretty high standard that you can actually get a grips to feel of what it was once like to kind of live in this area. We've got bolts all along the walls here where the bunk beds used to be, and they even had filters that you would put over the air intake valves just in case there was a gas attack in the region, so you could completely airtight the bunker until you got your gas masks on. And if you are interested in your ancient German fortifications, head down to a place called Bibette Head, which sits along the northern coast of Alderney. Apparently it's an example of like the best, most intact remaining example of German fortification on the island of Alderney. And it's flipping huge. The bunker that I'm heading into just now is just a tiny example of the huge area that it actually covers. It covers basically the entire headland, be either like collapsing ruins or intact bunkers, just a bit like this one. And it's basically just used to defend the entire headland with gun placements against any allied landings that might happen in the area. It is pretty creepy. Echo! Hello? If anyone says hello, I'm going to clear myself. And that there's the view out to sea from the top of the Bibette Head. So as you can see, it covers the entire bay. You've got the man-made like harbour bit that comes across Bray Beach and the other entrances, which dates back to about the 1850s. I believe they actually built that. It took 17 years because the Atlantic wall just kept getting knocked down by the huge rips and currents that were coming in from across the sea. Alright, and I've donned my head torch, so let's see what actually lies in these bunkers. Deep in water, I guess, because the water will be coming over in through that door and it will just flood this entire area. Sink in there. Really quite big. Right, if anyone's in here, do not jump out on me because because I have a set of pants and I am not afraid to poo them. Oh, that is just absolutely fascinating. Just an absolute ghost town, which is a familiar sight that you tend to see all across Alderney, which I guess just dates back to the fact that the whole island was completely evacuated and not everyone actually ended up coming back to here after the war because they either settled elsewhere or they just didn't want to return to it because of what the island actually was and what it was used for during the war. And so we've literally driven maybe about 10 minutes around the coast and we can see 1, 2, 3 forts. So we can't not pull over and go and check the first one out. What is this one called again?
This one's Fort Tourgis.
Fort Tourgis. It is rather impressive. It's like, it looks absolutely huge. It looks like inconceivably big, to be honest. I can't believe that they actually built this in the 19th century. But it looks like something out of a bit of a fairy tale, to be honest. It really is bizarre.
Okay, it was completed in 1855, designed to accommodate 346 men and was originally to be the largest Alderney's Victorian forts. It was also designed to mount 33 heavy cannon and 5 batteries together.
Crazy.
With 4 13-inch mortars.
Crazy. It is crazy big, like we're up the top and it looks pretty big from here, but then once you actually drive down and then start driving along the coast, it's huge, it's crazy. So Gemma's found the giant ice cream cone, the ice cream hut. Gemma says, is this where you can get your ice cream cones from? That's all you ever think about.
It's a sunny day, how can you not think about going for an ice cream when it's hot and sunny?
Okay, wow, like this is just huge. So you've got the walls all the way around it and then there's actually abandoned, kind of demolished, decimated buildings on the inside as well. And apparently they're just all completely empty. Like under our feet as well, I'm pretty sure this is like multi-storied, so it's not even just like the castles you see in Scotland where it's just a shell. It is an actual abandoned building and these are dotted all along the coastline of Alderney. It's quite crazy. Shall we go in further?
Why not?
Echo! Like I just don't even know what words I can use to describe just how crazy this is. I've never seen anything like it. The only thing I can actually liken it to is like your movies and your video games about Chernobyl. Now that is one thing on a serious note, if you guys do want to come here and check this out yourself, don't go wandering around here at night without any forms of lighting and take extreme care, because that is a bottomless pit to nowhere. If it was night time and you had no torches, there was no way that you would see that. I'd quite like to see this at night, just get a feel for how creepy it is. And I guess this is just what it comes to in life when you start a YouTube channel. Rather than sitting in a nice cozy 5-star hotel enjoying the fireplace, we've come back to this abandoned haunted fort just to give you guys some entertainment. You are welcome. Let's go and find some ghosts. So Gemma, let's just get a little bit of a background. Do you believe in ghosts?
I've never seen one, but I'm not going to say no. Never say never, and also I feel like if I say no then one will come out to show me otherwise.
That would be pretty awesome.
So,
and also the fact of the matter is, if we do see a ghost in this video, I'm gonna be rich! So just in case you're not aware of where we're back at Fort Tourgis and we're gonna go in the bottom entrance because we went in the top entrance earlier.
And we know how to say it now. I'm not sure if we...
I think we said Tourgis earlier. The top entrance I wouldn't recommend at night because it's full of holes and broken bits and stuff like that. Down the bottom was just a big empty courtyard and loads of empty haunted rooms.
Don't go in the room.
Yeah, don't go in the building itself because basically the floorboards will just collapse underneath you. This building is dangerous, keep out. And there's a picnic bench up the other end. So now that we're nicely haunted and acquainted, let me tell you a little bit about the history of Fort Tourgis. And this is from a local that we were speaking to the other day. So this was built in the middle of the 19th century with the intentions of it being one of the largest fortifications, except it was never actually used because by the time it was built it had kind of overreached itself, and the technology of warfare had advanced past the stage where it was actually necessary. Then, during the German occupations, they basically used this place for kind of prisoners of war, and to like for them to come and work here and live here as basically slaves. And apparently the local I was speaking to was saying to me that some of the stories that I heard about this place were just like horrific, and that's why a lot of the locals don't actually want to come here and no one wants to live here, is because of just the thought of it being very haunted. So what are you thinking walking around here?
I'm thinking I'm glad I brought my torch.
Yeah, it's pitch black.
Oh no, it's just find these historical sites fascinating. I know I've possibly said that a million times already, but it's just trying to imagine what it would have been like back then. It's so bizarre. Like, it would have been, they wouldn't have had head torches. They'd have possibly had a little candlelight if they were lucky. It would have been so dark. There would have been a lot of people here. There's a lot of rooms.
Now it just lies abandoned.
Yeah, it's just weird to put yourself in, try and put yourself into that situation.
Echo!
Don't do that. You gave me a fright. There's possibly somebody down there at the end finishing watching the sunset going, what's going on up there?
Ghosts. Ghosts in Fort Tourgis.
Apparently there's
Oh, what is that?
what was I going to say?
I thought I just saw something new. This place is creeping me out.
Apparently, as much as this is abandoned, apparently it's actually just too expensive to do anything with, and that's why it still lies here. It's not been turned into anything. It's just too expensive to knock it down, too expensive to build something new.
Yeah, because
So
there's
that's why it's
really
still here.
nothing that they can use this size
Yeah.
of a building for. So instead it's basically just lying here until I can get the money in order to renovate it. So if you fancy an absolute mansion in Alderney, this is your place.
Now that we're in here being a bit spooked out,
You might just be sharing it with some supernatural beings.
why is it that places are creepier in the dark? We were here in like the blasting sunshine the other day having a nice chat.
Now just every shadow.
I know.
And so we've come around, we've explored around a little bit, but it's just so dark and I'm getting kind of creeped out, so we're going to get out here. That is a little insight into the history that Alderney has to offer. And so that, guys, is the island of Alderney. Now, we didn't see any ghosts in this episode, unfortunately. However, one of our community on Instagram pointed out something a little bit suspicious on our Instagram stories that looks very much like the reflecting eyes of a Tourgis ghost. Now, whether that's the streetlights from behind the castle or it's something from the great beyond, I'll let you guys decide. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button and drop us a comment about what you think of the history in Alderney. Every interaction with this video helps us out so much, and it helps to spread the video across YouTube to show the whole world how beautiful Alderney really is. We would also love it if you could hit that subscribe button, join the Highlands to Hammocks gang, and join us for the next adventure wherever in the world that might be. And of course, guys, I'll see you again in the next one. And the reason all these... It's a big step there.
The Romans, the Tudors, the British soldiers, the Romans, the Tudors, the British soldiers.
Good to go.
Oh.
Amazing that all of this has survived since the war.
I was going to say, they do save plastic sticks around forever. The Romans, the Help!
The wall in front of me here is completely new, and you can see where the original central tower used to actually sit because of the bunting that you've got on the outside of it.
Oh, I don't see any bunting.
What's the word for it?
The big sticky out bits.
Yeah, that's the word for it, the big sticky out bits, like these ones over here. If you know what they're called, maybe drop us down in the comments below. Because yeah, I definitely don't think the Roman soldiers were putting up bunting.
The Romans, the Tudors, the British soldiers, and I can't even do it now because it's so funny. What was I even saying? Shoulders? God. The front so I can see what I'm doing. You mean, can you go in front so you can fight off the ghosts?
Exactly. Smart thinking.
Do you think there's any like happy little hedgehogs wandering around in here?
That would be nice, wouldn't there? A wee blondie.
That would be nice. I don't see any.
Ghost hedgehog.
Don't say that. And just as we're walking out, I can't see the exit. Do you remember where we came in?
Yes, down there. Don't say that, we're trapped.
The Romans, the Tudors, the British soldiers and the German soldiers have all made this fort their base.